Hey everyone, and welcome back. Happy Friday, Junior. Especially all my homework club kids watching. Hey guys, I love and I miss you very, very much. I hope we get to see each other soon. So, Thursday, what are we doing? It's almost the end of the week, and you know what we do on Thursdays if you've been around here before. We tackle math. Now, math was something that when I was little, I really struggled with, so I understand how intimidating it can be. But we need to face our fears, and we are going to tackle it head on. I am so excited because today, what are we doing? We are going to be making sense. What I mean is we are going to be taking loose change that we can find in our pockets. Maybe we have loose change stored in a central location in our houses. Maybe mom and dad just have some at the bottom of their purses or pockets, whatever. We're going to make change and we're going to talk about how to add it up. What coin makes what? How does it all work? So stay tuned because we are going to learn some things. We're going to make it make sense. Now, before I jump right into our little math activity, let's quickly talk about our riddle. I will go over our riddle again at the end of the video and reveal our answer. So, what is something that has a head and a tail, but no body? I'll let you guys mull it over and I'll see you at the end of the video to talk about our answer. Today, we are going to be making sense of currency. Now, before we move into our American sense, defining what each coin means and going over its value, I want to talk briefly about currency. Now, you might have just heard me say that in my little opening phrase and go, what? Currency? I've never heard of that. Let me help you out. Currency is just money. Money specific to every country. Yes, I know, crazy, right? Every country has a different form of currency. And it doesn't all hold up the same. So what I mean by that is if I go to England and I say, I want to buy that bag of apples, and I hand them American money, they won't be able to accept it. They'll say, I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't accept American money. You have to go and exchange your currency for British money. What craziness, right? Every country is different, from Australia to South Africa to Zimbabwe, Kuwait, Canada, Mexico, you name it. They've got their own type of currency or money. And all currency isn't the same. And you might be saying, I know that, or, yeah, but I mean it's not valued the same. So my American dollar, if I go over to Europe where they use the euro, I will not be getting the same amount of money when I exchange my currency. I'll get a little bit less because a dollar is not worth as much as a euro. And a euro isn't worth as much as a British pound sterling. It's all about values and transactions. And there's a whole system we could dive into and analyze why and how all of this came to be, why it exists, how it changes, but that's a little too much. For now, I just want to explain that not all money, not all currency is the same, and not all ways valued the same, as we just learned, comparing our money to the euro or the euro to the pound. There's all different types of values. So now that we've covered money just a little bit, let's move into making sense out of our sense. So we've covered currency, right? We've talked about what it means and what it encompasses or what it covers. Now that we've covered that, let's focus back in on American money and what that means. So in America, we have our coins and our paper dollars. What we'll be focusing on specifically today is making sense or making change. Along with that, we're also going to discuss how important it is to value our change. Because if you guys haven't noticed, change is money, and money is meant to be spent. What I mean by all of that is when we come into change, whether that's in the street, on the floor, in our bags, our mom gives us some, our grandma says here, You know, we come into it different ways, whether we get it back from handing someone a $5 bill. Keep it, hang on to it, collect it, keep it in a central or single location, and just keep adding along all those coins that you get. I'm telling you, at the end of it all, or maybe when you fill up your bag, you fill up your tin that you're using, you can save and spend on something. Say there's a toy or something you want to buy. You're now able to buy it because, I mean, you don't have a job yet, but you have savings, and that's awesome. That's so, so cool because now you're in charge of your money that you've saved. That's cool. It's cool. So I really do encourage you guys to keep a little stash of savings away with your coins. Now let's talk about using those coins, spending those coins. What do we do? Well, say something is $1.68. We've got our paper dollar, and obviously we put it right down. Now, we have a whole bunch of different change. Let's go over what they are and how much they're worth, and then we'll break down how to make change. Now, everything I'm talking about will be featured up in this little corner, so no worries. I do have coins and I could hold them up for you, but it's just not the same. So, what are we talking about? What's our first coin? We're going to go in order of least to most value. And we're only going to cover penny to quarter because a lot of other times when we talk about the half dollar or, you know, the dollar coins, it's just not everybody uses them all the time. And a lot of people have never even seen them. So let's not talk about them. Let's not add chaos to the mixture. So let's start with our penny. It is 1 cent. 1. And we know that a dollar is 100 cents. Now our next most valuable is a nickel. And our nickel is worth 5 cents. On our dime, we're putting the value of 10 cents on there. Then we jump right up to 25 cents, which is our quarter. Now that we've kind of covered what our coins are and what they mean, what value they possess, let's talk about how to make the rest of that 68 cents. So, say you have 2 quarters. Those quarters, 25 and 25, we do the math, they add up to 50, right? Boom. We've got half of our 100 right there. Now, we still have some other change. We've got 50 cents already put together with our 2 quarters. So we have to do how much more? What is 68 minus 50? It's 18. So we have to come up with another 18 cents because we've used our biggest chunk of change and now we're going to start using the smaller guys, right? So what are we going to use? What's a way that we can produce 10 cents? Well, we can do 10 pennies, 2 nickels, or 1 dime. If you have a dime, go ahead and put it down. If you have some nickels, go ahead and put them down. If you have 10 pennies, go on ahead and do it. Now, we're up to 60 cents. We still have 8 cents left to spend. How do we do that? Well, if you have a nickel, you can put 1 nickel down and 3 pennies. If you have no nickel, but a bunch of pennies, guess how many you can put down because they're only worth 1 cent. You put down 8, and then we have our total of 168 that we've used compiling our change. Now, how did we make this change, right? How did we make it happen? We took our biggest coins first, right? Our most valuable, which is the quarter, and we put them together and we put them down. And then we went down the line. We said, are there any dimes that I can put down? Any nickels? Any pennies? Because we can try and get the biggest sum, the biggest amount finished first. And then we can fill in with smaller coins. And that's really it. Although not every situation will be able to use those big coins, sometimes we're just gonna have a bunch of pennies. That's okay, as long as you are counting and realizing that a full dollar is 100 cents. We can count there in 1s, 5s, 10s, or 25s. It's all doable. And now that we've learned a little bit more about our currency, about our change here, let's scoot on over and do our positive action. I'm very excited to share it with you all today. Today, our positive action or positive tip is again going to focus on self-awareness. Now, if you watch our videos, you know that's something that we focus on a lot. And you might be saying, Emma, why do you keep talking about this? Because it is such a critical and important skill. To be aware of our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions is something that a lot of people are not doing. This is a skill that sets you apart and sets you up for amazing growth. Personal, academic. I know we're not all working yet. Hello, fifth graders, are you going to work? No, you're not. But professional, thinking about the future, it sets you up for everything. For relationships, for friendships, everything. It is so important to be self-aware because it allows us to know where we are in our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions. But it also allows us to empathize with those around us. So we know where we are. We have a good understanding of our thoughts and everything, but now we have to kind of add the layer of other people around us. And it's important to be able to say, I empathize, I get it, and I'm aware. It's important. It sets you up for so many opportunities. When we don't give ourselves these opportunities, when we don't put the work in to make ourselves better, we don't get better. So that's why I keep talking about it, because I care about you guys and I want you to be the best you can be. Now that I've kind of gone off the deep end with self-awareness, let's get back to really what we're talking about in self-awareness, which is setting goals for our emotional self. Now, I know that my emotions aren't always in check. I am not the emotion queen. I don't know how to be perfect all the time. No one does. So I don't want you to feel pressure in saying, I need to be perfect and aware and all the time. No. You need to just do your best, put your best foot forward every day. And I'm challenging you guys to maybe set some goals in your emotional life that you can rise to. Things like the next argument I'm in, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm going to listen to hear, not to respond. You know, maybe the next time I'm hanging out with my friends and I have one friend that isn't so nice to my other friend, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say this isn't okay. Things like that. Little goals that you can accomplish in becoming more aware of who you are, what you're thinking, and how you're treating yourself and others. I know. I could ramble on and on and on about all this. And you guys will say, Emma, I've seen the video before. I'm self-aware. I just really encourage you guys to continue trying and continuing to challenge yourselves, because we don't grow from our successes. We don't grow from just being praised and staying the same, right? No, we grow from those challenges. We rise to them, or maybe we fail, but we learn. We say, all right, I can do this, and this differently, and I'm going to try again. Maybe that's a goal. Is the next time that you get knocked down, you get right back up, because I know you can do it. All right, so now that we've talked about our positive action, let's scoot on over to Super Fudge. I hope you guys are excited. I know I am. If you guys have been keeping up with us, you know that we are in the middle of reading Super Fudge. And if you haven't been keeping up with us, you don't know what's going on. And I don't want to spoil anything for you. It's a great story. I promise you'll enjoy it. And I really highly suggest going back to the video where we first start all of this madness and jumping right in. I don't want to spoil it for you. All right. Now that you guys know what's going on, let's jump back in, because Peter had just made a new friend. He had just sold some worms. I don't know. Let's see. After supper, Mom got Tootsie into her sling, and then the 5 of us went off to Baskin Robbins. When we got there, Fudge walked up to the girl behind the counter and said, "Worm ice cream." "Beg your pardon?" the girl said. Worm ice cream, he repeated. We don't have. For the flavor of the month, Fudge told her. Worm ice cream. Are you saying, she began? Yes, he is, I said. Worm. That's W-O-R-M. I can spell, said the girl, annoyed. But I really don't think that's a flavor people would go for. Some people would. Right, PETA? Sure. Some people right in this town might think it's terrific. Look, kids, we're very busy tonight, so cut the wise guy stuff out and tell me what you want. I'll have a chocolate chip mint sundae with all the works, I told her. And I'll have a fudge ripple cone, Fudge said. Just like my name. Oh, your name is Cone? She asked. No. Ripple? No. I suppose you're going to tell me it's Fudge, right? That's right, Fudge said, chinning himself on the counter. Cute kid, she mumbled to herself. Real cute. All right, Chapter 6, Fairly Drexel meets Ratface. Interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes. Let's jump in. In August, Turtle needed his yearly checkup and shots. Mom and Dad asked around and decided on the Ark, an animal hospital right near the highway. To get there, we drove through town on a bridge over the lake where Alex and I dug up worms, up a hill and all the way out to the traffic circle. It seemed like they couldn't have found a further place. Turtle always shakes when he goes to the vet. I don't know what he's so worried about. He's just going to get shots. I tried talking to him softly, telling him it would only hurt for a second, but he whined and cowered in the corner anyway. On the way back, we stopped at Sandy's Bakery near the traffic circle. They make the best brownies I've ever tasted, and without nuts. I feel you, Peter. I like my brownies just chocolate. Mom is allergic to tree nuts, but not peanuts. Lucky for her, she can still eat peanut butter. Without peanut butter, I might starve. The week before school started, I had a lot of trouble falling asleep. It was too quiet in Princeton. I missed the sound of the city. I tried to think of my Kristen's crystal sitting in its box on the shelf in my closet. I tried counting sheep and reciting the alphabet backwards. But when that didn't work, I just couldn't help myself. I jumped out of bed and got it. As soon as I held up the crystal, it seemed as though Kristen himself was standing at the foot of my bed chanting, "Sleep, sleep." I woke up the next morning with my crystal under me. I had a pain in my butt from sleeping on top of it, and I felt really guilty about having used it at all. I'd cheated on Jimmy Fargo. We'd made a deal, and I'd broken it. Some friend I was. I wanted to tell him that it was okay with me if he decided to use our rock. But Jimmy was in Vermont with his mother, so he had no phone up there. And I wasn't the only one having trouble sleeping. I can't sleep anymore, Fudge said at breakfast. Why not? Dad asked. I'm afraid. Of what? Dad said. Monsters. There's no monsters, Dad told him. How do you know? Because I do, Dad said, spreading strawberry jam on his toast. Did you learn it in college? Fudge asked, making mush out of his cereal. No. Then where did you learn it? Fudge asked. Dad sipped on his coffee and then said, I learned it in high school? Come on, Dad, I said, laughing. Dad gave me a look to let him know that I should keep quiet. I wondered if he and Mom had told me ridiculous things like that when I was a kid, and if I believed them. I'm still afraid, Fudge said, and I want to sleep in PETA's room. No way, I said. There's no way I'm going to have him sleep in my room. He talks in his sleep. Then I'll sleep with Mommy, Fudge announced. My mother, who had been reading the morning paper, looked up. What? She asked. From now on, I'm sleeping with you, Fudge said. You have your own room, Fudgy, Mom told him, with your own big boy bed. I don't want my room, he shouted. I want to share. Sharing is better. You always say so. Mom sighed. That's different, she said. Sharing is for toys and cookies. And maybe if Turtle sleeps with Fudge, Dad began. But I didn't wait for him to finish. Hey, wait a minute. Turtle is my dog, remember? But you're willing to share him, aren't you, Peter? Dad asked. Not at night. He sleeps with me. Fudge started to cry. Nobody cares about Fudgy. Nobody cares if the monsters eat him up. Nobody's going to eat you, Fudge, Mom said. But how do you know? Fudge asked. Because I do. That's how, Mom said. Did you learn it in high school? Excuse me? I said, getting up from the table. But this is where I came in. Fudge solved his problems by himself every night after the rest of the family had gone to sleep. Fudge dragged his Snoopy sleeping bag down the hall and parked himself in front of Mom and Dad's bedroom. That's where he slept. And Mom and Dad didn't do a thing about it. They would just get up in the morning and step right over him. They told each other it was just a phase, that he'd get over it. If Fudge wasn't going through one phase, then he was going through another. I couldn't help thinking that one of these days, Tootsie would be going through phase 2. The way it looked now, there might never be an end. All right, that's where we're going to stop today. We just started a new chapter, chapter 6. I almost said 5, pardon me. And I'm excited. It seems like we're finally getting into the nitty-gritty of the story. What's going on? What are we going to learn? What lessons? I don't know, but I'm excited to share it all with you. And before I say my goodbyes, let's talk about our riddle. So our riddle was very fitting for our activity today. Do you remember what it was? Our riddle was, what has a head and a tail, but no body? I don't know. Maybe a coin? Get it? Because heads or tails of a coin, but it doesn't have a body. I thought it was fun, and I thought it was fitting, and I hope you enjoyed it. And now that we know our answer, it's time for me to say goodbye. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching.